You're grading papers at 11 p.m. Your salary is $42,000. Your student loan payment is $387 a month. You open your laptop and spend the next 3 hours tutoring online, $75 an hour. And then the email arrives. Your district's legal department is suing you because you are tutoring on the side. I'm not making this up. This is happening right now in school districts across America. Teachers in California, Texas, New York, and Florida are receiving cease and desist letters. Some are being forced to choose: keep the side hustle or keep the job. No negotiation. The official reason? Conflict of interest. Your energy belongs in the classroom. But that's the cover story. The real reason is something else entirely, and by the end of this video, you're going to see it clearly. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell. This is exactly the kind of conversation nobody in your district is having. So, let's start with the weapon they're using. Because it's brilliant. It's buried in your contract, and almost nobody knows it's there. Most teacher contracts contain what's called a moonlighting clause. You almost certainly signed it without reading. I mean, who reads a 60-page contract on day one? It says you need written permission from your district before taking outside work. Sounds reasonable, right? Professional boundaries. Protect the institution. But here's where the trap closes. Districts are now interpreting this clause to mean they can block side work that has any connection to education. That includes tutoring. That includes curriculum consulting. That includes selling lesson plans online. One teacher in North Carolina was told she couldn't tutor students outside her district. The district's argument? It was educational work, and therefore fell under their jurisdiction. Not her classroom, her entire career field. And here's the cold financial calculation behind all of this. Your salary is locked. Your mortgage isn't. A legal fight costs $5,000 to $15,000 in attorney fees, minimum. They are betting, literally betting, that you can't afford to fight back. The district's public argument is always the same: student welfare. They claim that side hustles drain teacher energy. You're tired in the classroom because you were tutoring until 10 p.m. The students suffer. Parents buy this story. School boards nod. It's a beautiful rhetorical move because it's partially true. You are tired. The side hustle is necessary because they don't pay you enough. So the district creates the condition, then punishes the symptom. Read that again. They create the problem, then sue you for solving it. Let's do the math they don't want you doing. The average teacher salary in the US is $64,000. But that's the headline number. When you account for unpaid planning periods, professional development days, the classroom supplies you buy yourself, averaging around $500 a year out of your own pocket. You work roughly 50-hour weeks while salaried for 40 hours. Your actual hourly wage is closer to $28 an hour. Some studies put it lower. Meanwhile, a teacher with a side hustle like tutoring, curriculum design, test prep coaching can earn $75 to $150 an hour. Not because they're greedier, because the market is paying for what your district refuses to. So, when the district sues, what they're basically saying is, we aren't going to pay you enough to live on, and we will sue you if you make money elsewhere. That's not a policy. That's a trap. Some districts go further. They're adding new contract language that gives them the right to monitor your social media, your YouTube channel, your Etsy shop selling teacher planners. They're claiming they own your intellectual property if it relates to teaching, period. A teacher in Georgia created an Instagram account sharing classroom management strategies. It had nothing to do with her district. 12,000 followers. She monetized it through sponsorships. Her district demanded 40% of her earnings, claiming it used teaching methodologies developed on district time. She never used district resources, never mentioned the school. They sued anyway. The case is still in litigation. The genius of this strategy is that it's technically plausible under current labor law. Teachers are public employees. Public employees in some states are bound by broader conflict of interest and public integrity clauses. A district can argue, and some have, that a teacher's reputation, even while off duty, reflects on the school. Therefore, the school has a right to monitor it. It's an astonishing expansion of employer power, but it's happening because nobody with money is paying attention yet. Now here's where it gets truly disturbing, and this is the part that almost never gets talked about. Wealthy districts rarely enforce these clauses. A teacher in Westchester County, New York, makes $85,000 starting out. She can afford to live on her salary. She doesn't need to tutor. So, the rules exist but aren't enforced. Meanwhile, a teacher in a poorer district earning $38,000, teaching in a school where 60% of students qualify for free lunch, is exactly the one who needs a side hustle. And unbelievably, that is exactly the type of teacher that is being sued. The clause becomes a mechanism of inequality. High-poverty districts crush side hustles among the teachers who need them most. Wealthy districts let their teachers freelance freely. The gap widens. The teachers who need protection the most get punished the most. Let that sink in. Some unions have pushed back. The National Education Association filed a complaint in 2022 arguing that blanket bans on educational side work violate antitrust law. It argued that districts are essentially conspiring to control the labor market for teaching services. The complaint went nowhere. Why? Because teachers don't have collective bargaining power on this issue yet. Here's the gut punch. Most union contracts already include the moonlighting clause. Your own union signed off on the weapon being used against you. Nevertheless, some teachers are fighting back and winning. Not always because they were legally right, but because they proved the district was selectively enforcing the rule. One teacher in Pennsylvania documented that her district had never sued a male teacher for tutoring, but had sued 3 female teachers. Gender discrimination claim. Settled quietly. Another found that her own principal was running a tutoring business on the side with 0 consequences. Hypocrisy claim. Case dropped. The districts were gambling that teachers wouldn't fight back, and sometimes they lost that bet. But they only lost when individual teachers had the money and legal sophistication to fight back. Unfortunately, most don't. And here's the part that should outrage every parent watching this. Districts that successfully block side hustles don't raise teacher salaries. You'd think, if we stop teachers from tutoring, we'll need to pay them more to keep them. But that's not what happens. What happens is teacher turnover increases. The good teachers, the ones resourceful enough to build a side hustle, they leave the profession entirely. They're the ones with options. So districts end up with a lower quality teaching force, paying the same amount and achieving worse outcomes. It's a self-defeating policy. Except it's not, actually. Because school board members don't lose anything. They get to tell the community they're protecting students and preventing conflicts of interest. Politics wins. Reality loses. The Supreme Court has never directly ruled on this. There's no constitutional protection for teacher side work. Now, some states like Florida have passed laws that explicitly permit teachers to engage in outside work if it doesn't affect job performance. But other states are still silent, which means districts fill the vacuum with increasingly aggressive interpretations of old contract language. In other words, your legal protection depends entirely on which state you live in and how aggressive your district decides to be. You're still grading those papers at 11 p.m. That email is still in your inbox. The legal threat is real. And here's what you need to understand. It's not actually about student welfare. It never was. It's about control. The district has power over your time during school hours. Now they're saying they want power over your time outside school hours too. The moonlighting clause gives them a legal handle. The lawsuit is just the enforcement mechanism. The real cost isn't the legal fee. It's the silence. Most teachers who get sued sign a non-disclosure agreement as part of the settlement. They can't tell anyone what happened. They can't warn other teachers. The system perpetuates in the shadows. Dozens of cases happen every year, and almost nobody outside the profession knows. This is why I make videos like this one. So, you face a problem with no clear answer. You need the money. Your district says no. You can fight and risk your job. You can comply and watch your family's financial stability shrink. Or you can do the side hustle quietly, keep your head down, and hope they don't notice. Many teachers choose option 3, which means you're potentially working an illegal job according to your contract just to live a middle-class lifestyle. That's not a teacher problem. That's a systemic failure. The district isn't actually worried about your energy. They're worried about their control. And the first step to taking that control back is knowing what you're actually dealing with. Now you do. If this video opened your eyes, share it with a teacher who needs to see it. Subscribe for more of the financial conversations your district will never have with you. And drop a comment below. Have you ever been warned about your side hustle? I want to hear what's happening out there.